Another week, Tiana gone, and I still don't have a Tiana. What's up, everybody? Tiana. Sorry, spoiler alert, we didn't get a Tiana. This is not pre-recorded. This is, I know we had a hurricane. We had, well, some of you are in Florida. Most of you are not. I know, there was a hurricane. And the past two videos that I did the past 2 days were pre-recorded. But this is actually, we luckily have power now. So, well, I luckily have power. You and me, whatever. We have power now. I always say we, why do I always say we? So, we can do videos now, so that's great. So we didn't have any interruptions, which I was worried about. I was worried about having interruptions. I like to make sure I always have videos coming out. And also, I was a little bit worried about the phone situation. I went through my backups a little too fast. I was like, my backup batteries. I was like, I don't know. Anyway, we got some stones, whatever. That's a minute of my nonsense, talking about whatever. But yeah, yay, no issues with that. All right, today we are talking about, you know what? I'm not really gonna talk about the 3 stars too much. I think we were going over the 3 stars a little too much. And it was like, no one's really even using 3 stars anyway. We've got some interesting monsters. I think people are still gonna summon a little bit this week, for Verad and Laika and Teshar. They're not like the most wanted, I think. Some people want them. They're like, oh, I really want a Verad, I really want a Laika, I really want a Teshar. Teshar used to be like Mr. Pimp, but like lately no one's really like, I want to summon a Teshar. They're like, I want to summon Tiana, Pisamath and Tiana. But Teshar is really nice too. I mean, none of these are like bad Nat 5s need a buff, right? Some of these other monsters are pretty good this week too. Anyway, we've got the Verad, Water Dragon. Shoots an ice arrow at the enemy. Second skill, Snowstorm, attacks all enemies with Storm of Ice, dealing damage portion to your defense, and freezing with a 60% chance for 1 turn. All right. Then we've got this one, freezes. Dash portion to your defense again, and sets the enemy's attack bar to 0. Additionally, the enemies are frozen for 1 turn. This guy is all CC, damage based on defense. So, you ruin him for, well, I see some people ruin him. I don't see too much defense, crit damage defense as a damage dealer. I've seen it before, but I don't see it too often. I usually see Violent Will, usually the build, for RTA, speed, defense, HP, and then a lot of accuracy and speed and defense and HP and subs. I don't really see too much accuracy on 6. I'm sure it happens. I'm sure people do it. If you're going to do accuracy on 6, which is not bad because he does need a lot of accuracy, then if you're going to do accuracy on 6, at least make sure it's got speed, HP, and defense subs, which are importante to have. He's got this leader skill, this HP leader skill, but he's usually ruined for, he's ruined for a couple different places. He's ruined, I see him sometimes violent and, what is it? Violent Will for Guild War defense. I've seen him sometimes for Guild War defense. He's not my number one, like, best Guild War defense monster, but he could be nice. He's anti-copper. He's kind of anti-bulldozer because he's a water monster. Bulldozer can't really do too much about that. Plus, he's a defense monster, so he's a defense monster, so you can't really copper him, but you could be like, oh, he's got defense, I could Lucian him. So you still have to take into consideration that. But you don't know if he's gonna be HP build or if he's gonna be a defense build. You can build him HP though. You could go speed, HP. He's really he needs to be fast. He needs to have good accuracy, at least. But you can get it in subs. But I would go for PvP. I would go either speed, HP. I know it sounds weird. Speed, defense, HP. I wouldn't just go speed, defense, because then that makes him. I mean, it's just that gives him too little HP, I think. But I think speed, defense, HP is the most common build. Violent Will for PvP. If you're just not worried about PvP, if you're not worried about RTA or anything, if you're just like, hey, man, I'm low level, what else can I do for him? You could do, if you're like super low level, you don't even have Violent yet, you could do Swift. I mean, I would just focus on speed and accuracy. You could do Focus as a great 2-set for early game for him. If you're gonna, he's a great TOA monster. He's also great. He's got double AOE's. He's great for the Fire Rift Beast. Really nice for that too. What else? What else? I think that basically covers it. I mean, he could be good in Giants and Dragons too. He does have double AOE's. Plus, he's got this set the enemy's attack gauge to 0. If he's fast enough and he's on Violent, he could be doing Dragons B10 with him and keep those towers from moving, and the dragon never gets that invincibility on. Well, hopefully. I mean, that's the game plan, right? That's the game plan we want to go for. But I don't have him. I don't really. I know some people. I've seen some people use him in Dragons V10. But I don't know what exactly they're using with him for that. There's also a secondary build. It's a weird build, but it's only for arena defense, right? Speed HP, double Nemesis Will, or some kind of, depending on how much speed you have, you need less Nemesis sets if you have higher speed. But he's basically there for, like, you know, make it like, hey, Lucian, why don't you come hit me, right? And then Verad is there to proc Nemesis, get a turn, cut in between the Lucians, and you need a high accuracy though to make sure that he freezes and attack gauge reduces that second Lucian. But it is possible. I've seen it happen. I've seen people run like Nemesis and Will on Verad for arena defense. But he does need to be, he can't be a defense. He can't be like speed defense. Be like, why is my Verad not working like on Nemesis? Like, no, you need HP for that. Anything anti-Lucian needs to be stack HP, not stack defense. So there's that. What else do we have for here? Laika. Now usually the rune build for Laika, let's take a look at him. He's got continuous damage here. I'm not ever too crazy about that. Burning Rage. This has a crazy, I think it's like 1200. Hold on, let me see. Let me bring up a new thing there. A new thing. I think it's got 1240 multiplier, 1240 damage multiplier, if I remember correctly. 800% to 1240% damage multiplier on that second skill. That is insane. That is a huge, crazy damage multiplier based on number of dead allies. So more allies dead, more damage it's gonna do. It's just a ton of damage. And then we got this Noble Blood passive. Yeah, he was nerfed. I think that people are going a little bit overboard with the, oh, like a storage monster now. No, he's still not a storage monster. I usually see him for PvP on Vampire and Will. I've seen him also, some people like to use him in Giants B10. It's weird, but some people like to use him in Giants B10 because he does a lot of damage, and he'll take the focus. So I think there's much better things to use for Giants B10, but he won't glance too. Your attacks won't land as glancing hits, so that's another reason. But I usually see attack, crit damage attack with overall value subs and Vampire Will. I've seen like Vampire Blade too, and I've also seen something like speed crit damage attack, but he wasn't super fast. He doesn't really need to be super fast because he's got that revenge mechanic already. So he doesn't need to be super fast. He's not a support monster buffing everything and doing crowd control or anything. So he's just a damage dealer. Are we out of music? No, it just sounded like we're out of music. Okay. But I usually see attack, crit damage attack. I've also seen like HP crit damage attack or attack crit damage HP to make him at least tanky enough to survive a little bit longer. Even though he does, you have to hit him multiple times to kill him. There's ways, he's not hard to kill. He's not like impossible to kill. I like to take, I mean, if I see him on arena defense with other fire monsters, I'm just gonna take a Julie, gonna nuke him down. He's also can be killed by double Lucians. As long as the Lucians have high enough crit rate, they're gonna crit at least a couple times. But I see him in Guild War defense, and I see him, he does great in RTA. He does great in Guild War defense. But he goes through immunity. He just does so much damage. You don't really even need a defense break half the time with this. It just does so much crazy, ridiculous damage. But yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But it's usually Vampire Will. Attack or damage HP, attack or damage attack, or some variation. Like I said, I've seen speed on 2 before, but the reason I saw speed on 2 was because it had good attack, crit rate, crit damage, HP subs overall. So either attack build or hybrid build is the way I would go for him. I mean, you could do other stuff. I just see him more often than not on Vampire. Like, almost always on Vampire. It's from what I've seen him lately. So, I know he's nerfed, he doesn't stun anymore, but I still think he's a great monster. What else do we have next? Teshar! We are blowing through these. Damn, only 10 minutes. We're going for 20 minutes. We're going for 20 minutes, baby. It's not going to be 20. It's going to be like 35. If we're lucky. If we're lucky. Damn, Jubei always talks too much. Teshar, he's got this. Stuns. I don't ever put focus on him. Or accuracy on him. I don't care about accuracy on him. Explodes. Compressed energy, inflict big damage. It's just big damage. The more HP the targeted enemy currently has, the larger damage becomes. So if the enemy has not lost any HP yet and it's just got a defense break, it's gonna do the most damage. If the enemy has only a little bit of life left, it's gonna do the least amount of damage. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. You don't need to do tons of damage if the enemy barely has any life left, right? So we got that, and then we have this Tempest attacks all enemies, becomes instantly reusable if an enemy dies. Instantly reusable if an enemy dies, which means we want him to kill enemies, right? He's got amazing base attack. He's got, I think, the best base attack in the game. Him and the Dark Phoenix. Let me make sure. On that 10, was it Dark Phoenix or it was the Dark Phoenix? It's got to be the Dark Phoenix. 870, 1098. Oh, it was the Light Phoenix. It was the Light Phoenix. Okay, I was like, was it Dark Phoenix? They're both pretty high though. They're both pretty high. So I guess he's got the best attack. I thought he was tied with one of them, but I guess not. Maybe they changed it a while ago, but I thought he was tied with one of them. But yeah, mine. I'll show you guys mine. I'll show you because I could show you this one. All right, so this is mine. He's got 3,500-ish. Attack. He's got decent enough speed. He can't be super slow, but he doesn't need to be like super fast, like, oh my god, 250 speed or anything. This is a decent enough speed for him. I use him mostly in Giant Speed 10. Decent crit rate, decent crit damage. If he doesn't have high crit rate, you can always use the crit rate leader skill, which is nice. Gives you more consistent runs. If you're like early to mid game and you're like, man, I have like 50 to 60% crit rate on a lot of my monsters. There you go. You can run your crit leader skill, have more consistent Giants runs. He's usually used in Giants. He's used in farming. He's used in what else? Giants. I've seen him used in Necropolis. He's not the best in Necropolis. He doesn't have multi-hit skills. He's not the best in Necropolis. He also doesn't have any debuffs. The reason that I've seen him used in Necropolis, which I mean, it works. But if he's the first monster to go, he just does so much damage, and he doesn't go on cooldown that he can keep using Tempest every single time and kill things, and it just makes it go faster in that way. It's to get to the boss. It's not for the boss necessarily. Because if you just take 5 Teshars into it's never gonna work. You're gonna die. Into Necropolis. That's not really a team that's ever going to work for you. Unless every single one of them violent procs 4 times. Then it could work. But I generally see him ruined attack or damage attack. Actually, what does he have? I'm sure we could put something better than that on him. Here's the runes that I have on oh, I didn't even know. Can we power this up? No, not this one. This one. This one. Yes, we can. There we go. Alright, cool. So we're actually able to do I have anything for here? HP. He's got such low HP, it doesn't really matter to stack HP on it. If you're going to use him for arena offense, you could use him for arena offense, like to outspeed, strip, Galleon, and then Teshar and nuke some things. The cool thing about that is and I see some people using Violent Teshar, which there's pros and cons to that too. Violent Teshar is if you kill something and you violent proc and get another turn, you can AoE and do Tempest again in the same thing. You don't need to do that for a farming one. You don't need to do that for a secret dungeon one. He's great for secret dungeon. He's amazing for secret dungeons, by the way. Amazing. Because you just keep using his Tempest over and over and over again. The AI doesn't always want to use Tempest over and over and over again, but he's still amazing for, he's really good for farming and stuff like that. I've seen some of the best Teshars just nuke without needing defense breaks for things. So, not really for PvP, but for like Giants B10, for Necropolis, for things like that. That's what I was saying. Necropolis, he'll just nuke and he'll kill things. So we've got that. But I have been seeing him on Valiant a little bit more lately. Some people like to do a little bit faster. But if you're gonna go for him for arena offense, he really should be much faster. His base speed is 109. It's not bad, so it's not hard to get him fast enough. But yeah, I like to have him. He's mainly for Giants B10 for me right now. I used to use him a little bit in a cleave team, but not recommended because his base HP is so low, and there's always fire monsters on defense nowadays that it's really, I mean, hard to keep him alive. So would not recommend using him on a. But his base attack is so. His base attack and his base speed are so good. You don't have to worry about accuracy for him at all. If he's gonna outspeed, you don't really. I don't even care about resistance. I don't care about resistance. I don't care about HP. I don't care about accuracy for him at all. He's just speed, attack, crit damage, crit rate. That's all I care about for him. He's there to outspeed and nuke, or he's there to be moderately fast for like giants or whatever and nuke. But a great monster. He's just the stupid damage dealer. Stupid Teshar and his stupid big blast of chicken damage. All right. Who do we have next? Who do we have next? Chicken damage. All right. Chicken damage. Next we have Chilling. Chilling, an underrated monster. Chilling can be used for... Actually, he can be used for giants. I didn't even finish to start the sentence. I'm like, he can be used for... Actually, no, that's not just that. He's used for dragons sometimes. Speed, crit damage attack. For dragons B10. He's used Necropolis too. You can use him Violent Revenge for Necropolis as well. But he's useful. He can also be used in Giants as well. He's got this 3 times. Triple hit, right? Triple hit. I kind of put 4 fingers up, didn't I? 30%. I'm tired, man. It's been a long 2 days of Hurricane. Speed Break, which is very important for Necropolis. Good for Giants and Dragons, because he will steal beneficial effects too. Great for Dragons. Steals immunity, right? Speed buff, crit rate buff. Overall, just a great monster. Also, useful. I use mine in RTA and I use mine in Guild Wars. Now, I use mine a little bit differently. I use mine speed, defense, HP with Violet Runes. I'll show you mine. Should be showing people my Chilling, damn. Where's my Chilling? I did change him. He was a little bit better before. His accuracy... Actually, his accuracy seems to work fine at 32%. I really don't have... Because he does so many hits. He does so many hits, and he'll steal with... He'll steal here. So he really doesn't need... He really doesn't need crazy accuracy, because if he misses one, he's still able to steal things, right? I love him. I love him against Rakans. I love him against Theomars. Against Theomars, Speed Break, with Theomars on Will, right? A lot of times Chilling will go first with 132 plus 132 speed. He a lot of times goes faster than Theomars, almost always, right? Unless it's like Speed Leader, Orion, Theomars, then we're not gonna really do it. But I would take a different team into that anyway. But if it's like, a lot of times I'll use him for Fire Anubis, Chasun, Theomars, and I'll use a defense buffer, and I'll use Chilling. This way, usually Theomars is on Will. I'll strip the Will and I'll Speed Break, which means Theomars' first skill does less damage already, right? First skill does less damage. And then I'll have the defense buff. Did I say defense break? Defense buff on my team as well. Another thing to make Theomars do less damage. So if he procs, he's still not going to kill me, because he's speed broken, right? And then and my team's got the defense buff. So I use him kind of as a support monster for that. But he works really, really nice. If I was going to use him for Giants B10, I would go speed, crit damage, attack. Because his damage is based on his attack speed. He buffs his attack speed and crit rate. So already we see speed, crit rate, attack. Speed, crit damage, attack, not crit rate. He's already buffs his crit rate. but speed crit damage attack for Dragon's B10 and for Giant's B10 runs as well. You gotta be careful though in Giant's B10. He's gonna be taking. He's got a multi-hit skill, so he's more often than not gonna take damage from the Giant. But he's also, I like to use him. He steals the Anubis shield. He steals what else? He steals Wusa's buffs. He steals Chloe's buffs. He steals everything. He's like a little thief, jack-o'-lantern. Rakan, he's great against Rakan. He's great against Rakan Fire Anubis too. Yeah, but that's why I like to use him for. Also, if we knock Theomar's down, he's got his Endure. It's a multi-hit that steals the buffs. So Endure, as long as he's on Theomar's on Endure, GG, we won. You know, Chilling gets another turn. GG, it's Theomar's dead. Even if Fire Anubis gets his shield on him, and that's a pretty common team in Guild War defense. So I think Chilling is definitely, you can use him in Necropolis, Giants, and Dragons. Already a win. You could use him in Guild War offense. Already, I wouldn't use him in Guild War defense. He's horrible in Guild War defense. Horrible in Arena defense. Not a defense monster. But it's two different builds, RTA and Guild Wars. Two different builds, as opposed to the Giants, Dragons, Necropolis builds. But both of them, but he's got uses. If you build him and you're like, I don't really use him for what I was going to use him for initially, you could always use him for something else. I didn't build him. I don't think I even got him. I actually didn't get him right away. It took me a while to get Chilling. He also doesn't need too many skill ups. I skilled mine up, but it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory that he gets his first skill skilled up, right? Like, you don't have to feed him Devilmons. This is nice to have, but he's good even without Devilmons. Like, Galleon needs Devilmons. Chilling, you can make Chilling work without Devilmons. So that's pretty cool as well. So we've got that dude as well. Chilling, underrated. I know, because I wasn't on the Chilling bandwagon at first, and then I was playing with him, and it was only like a few months ago that I was like, wow, Chilling is actually really a good monster. Because I never really appreciated him until now. Also, triple hits against Laika, GG, right? But he would have to be more of a hybrid. He would have to at least do enough damage. He doesn't do horrible that like what is it called? In Nat 5 Arena in RTA, when you stack up the attack after a while. God, I'm still talking too much. 22 minutes. Oh my god. So it's like 10 minutes on Chilling now. When after the attack stacks, Chilling gets better, and he's actually able to, if Laika gets a defense break, Chilling, even a tank Chilling, will take out Laika. With his 3, because his damage is based on, he buffs his crit rate, so he's going to crit a lot. He's also got element advantage, and he has his damage is based on attack speed. So he buffs his speed and crit rate. So then we have, she I think is underrated too. I'll try to make this a little bit faster, but we've got this glancing head. I don't really care. 2 times though. This, excuse me, cutting magic also attacks an enemy and removes all beneficial effects on the target. If there are 2 or more beneficial effects removed, the attack bar of all allies will be increased by 20% each. Interesting, we'll get to that in a second. Also, she's got a Guild Battle of Resistance leader skill of 40%, I believe. Medical support, heal all allies by 30% of your max HP and increases their defense for 2 turns. So support and heals by 30% of your max HP. So we want to ruin her speed, speed, defense, speed, HP. Oh my god. Wow, I need to go to bed. Speed, HP. Generates a shield for 2 turns and is equivalent to half the excessive heal. Nice defense buff. This is another one you could run her with Chilling as well. Like I was saying, for the, she kind of does, well, she kind of does the same thing as well. Like she'll strip buffs, but she's not as reliable. Like you gotta wait for it to go again if it doesn't work. Like Chilling, you just every turn he'll strip buffs. But like I was saying, I like to defense buff when I'm fighting Theomars, and she does have a defense buff. That's what I was trying to say though. So we've got this as well. Defense buff, really nice. heal, we also get a shield if we don't, if we didn't need the heal. We still get a shield. So it's good either way, right? So it's a support. Even if we took no damage, we don't need to heal, she's still useful. This is still a useful skill that we don't even need to wait for. So it's always going to be usable. This, underrated, okay? And let me explain why. Attacks at enemy removes all beneficial effects on target. Interesting. A lot of times we see beneficial effects in PvP nowadays. If there are 2 or more beneficial effects removed, lots of times you're fighting against Wusa, you're fighting against Chloe, you're fighting against things like that. Attack bar of all allies will be increased by 20% each. Now actually her third skill can be used as anti-Lucian as well, as a nemesis thing. Because not really for the buff defense, but for the heal and potentially shield. I've seen her used because he'll crit on her a lot, and she's rune for speed, HP anyway. So I've seen her being used as an anti-Lucian mechanic. Now for this though, beneficial effects on the target, attack bar of all allies will be increased by 20% each. Let's say you go into RTA, you're fighting against the Wusa, you use this cutting magic, right? Cutting magic strips the 2 or more beneficial effects removed, right? Wusa has 2. So strips the beneficial effects, or on Rakan, either way, Rakan 2, strips them, and then everyone else buffs their attack gauge, they get a turn, and you can possibly nuke whoever got their buff stripped, and then GG. Well, and then maybe not GG, but you can possibly get those 3 other monsters that you're fighting that are on your team to attack next, and take something out, right? Now, if they're speed tuned correctly, if they're fast enough to, that 20% attack gauge buff is going to be enough. Now, this could be also useful for, I think she's, so I usually see her Violent Will. For Guild War offense, I think she's actually not bad. You can use her with Copper. You can use her with a lot of different stuff for Guild War offense. But you can use her with Copper, Bulldozer, things like that. It's a defense buff that's never bad. It's a defense buff, and also it's shield, shield, strip, and defense buff. So she provides a lot, and heal too. And she just provides a lot of stuff in her same kit. And also the resistance leader skill resistance leader skill in offense for Guild Wars seems ridiculous. I know it probably doesn't even work, but I have used her in Guild War offense before. A nice copper, nice copper combo. But this, I think, is underrated on... I keep switching back and forth between the skills. I think it's underrated for Swift. I think it's underrated for Swift when you go in and you're thinking your enemy, either if they have a Wusa, or if you're thinking they have Shield Will on their team, which is entirely possible. A lot of people do Shield Will for World Arena 2. I've seen that, like, sometimes it's just Will, sometimes it's nothing, like mid-game it's nothing, or early to mid-game it's really, like, sometimes like they don't have anything on there. But I do sometimes see, like, full Shield Will on a team when I go in to RTA. So this is cool, especially against Rakan, especially against Wusa. I think this is underrated, to even have her on Swift and have other monsters come in super fast behind her with high speed. I think this is underrated. 20% attack gauge, because this, as long as it removes, it's basically like a mini Bernard. Kind of like a mini Bernard. 20% attack gauge buff. Bernard does 30. It doesn't do a speed buff, but it strips and does attack. I think it's underrated. I think it's underrated for her use as really, really, really fast stripper. So she does need a lot of skill ups though. I feel like I keep feeding her things to skill her up, and I think she's not even finished skill up. I don't even. What a hoe. Anyway, needs a lot of skills, but she's underrated, I think. Fire Succubus. This is a nice first skill, right? Puts him to sleep. This replaces beneficial effects with stun, glancing hit, and defense break, which is really nice too. Again, could be really nice for putting her on Swift and having this move first, and then you come up with other things behind that and nuke them down. Because this is it's a strip will, strip shield, and potentially defense break, and stuns them. It's really, really awesome. It's a single target, but it's for what it is. If it was an AOE, this would be broken OP. Everyone would use it all the time. Then we've got this AOE does HP recovery and does damage. Either speed crit damage attack or attack crit damage attack. But she's not my favorite, but this skill's awesome. This skill's awesome. I like the dark one a little bit better because she does damage based on enemies' max HP, and she's element neutral. But she's still a fun monster, and they buffed that second skill. Is so cool. But either speed crit damage attack or speed or attack crit damage attack for her. I said that right. Did I say something about HP? I don't know. No, I said, never mind, I said something else. So Trevor, next one. Man, I've seen some weird builds lately for Trevor. Attack and increases attack power for 2 turns. I've seen him with Revenge too. This way he increases attack power there, and then we have this increases critical rate and instantly strikes an attack an enemy with a powerful strike. So he's got an attack buff, he's got a crit buff already built in. And his HP decreases, his damage inflicted will decrease, and the damage you receive will... What? No. As his HP decreases, when he gets closer to dying, he does more damage, and he takes less damage. That's whatever it says there, that's what he does. So I've seen him build... Mine is actually attack for damage HP. Because I wanted him to not be super squishy and die immediately. I wanted him to be able to take some damage. This way his passive goes into effect as much as possible before we can kill things. I do have him on, I think mine is on Vampire Nemesis, attack or damage HP, and I did want to put decent enough speed subs to get him over at least 150 speed. He can't be super slow, otherwise he'll never get turns for Nemesis proccing. Vampire Revenge works too. It's also nice. He's actually a pretty good farmer. He can farm a lot of stuff. He can farm anything, basically. He can farm up to this one. He can solo Chiruka. Chiruka hard. Hell. But he's pretty nice. He's pretty nice. Very nice. I've seen people also recently do HP crit damage HP and have him tanky, and then eventually like an RTA, and then eventually just do tons of damage. But be the one that the enemies are trying to take care of first. Like, they're gonna keep hitting him, and they're like, why is he not taking a lot of damage? And then you kill them with your other stuff, and you're like, I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time trying to focus on him, because he did not take any damage, because he was an HP tank. So I've seen people do that. That's more of a recent thing. But it's fun damage dealer. One of the better 4-star damage dealers. Then we have this Windharg. Great thing about this Windharg, super easy to scale because both the fire and the dark are nat 3s. And the water too are all nat 3s. I wouldn't suggest feeding the dark if you only have one, but they're all nat 3s. So we've got this, increase the attack bar of the ally with the lowest attack bar. That's fine. We've got this, attacks the enemy, decrease target's attack bar 50%, and 50% with a 70% chance decreases attack speed as well. More damage according to your defense. This one, more damage according to your defense as well. Moves all harmful effects and casts a damage absorbing shield on them for 3 turns. Underrated monster for... I think he could be used in RTA sometimes. I think because of his cleanse. Because there's so much CC going on in RTA that because of his... If your opponent's got a CC team, you could bring him in. And he also... He scales based on defense, which is nice. And he's got this defense leader skill. Usually, though, nowadays, he's used for... I see him used more than anything in R5. So I see him used in R5. He's got this attack gauge reduction. He's got the speed reduction. And then he's got this the harmful effect, the cleanse and shield, which is nice. And a defense leader skill if you need it. You know, you might not need it. But he's usually rooted for speed, defense... A mix of you want to focus on defense a lot. You want to get high defense on him, but you also want to get high speed on him because he is a cleanser. And you also want to get decent HP on him as well. You don't want him to be just defense. You want to get decent HP. So either defense, HP with a lot of speed subs and still try to get him really high in speed that way. Or you can do speed, defense, HP, speed, defense with HP subs. You know the drill. You know what I'm saying, right? You do want to get him fast because he is a support monster. General rule of thumb is support monsters should be faster than other monsters. Buffs and debuffs and cleanses and things like that are always should go more often. They all need more speed. They all need more speed. So, what else do we have? These girls. She doesn't make a lot of sense. She's damage increases according to your defense, and this one isn't according to your defense, and she's an attack monster. Confusing. This one you get early. I mean, we really don't need it. This one's just awful. He doesn't do anything. We really don't need to talk about this. He's an interesting one. He's got this defense break, and he's got this decreased attack power, whatever. Damage according to your max HP. Damage according to your max HP. He's a defense monster, but damage according to your max HP. And then he's got this, increase your defense for 3 turns, provokes all enemies with an 80% chance. This is a little bit underrated. He's not one of the worst Nat 3s, so he's kind of decent. He's got his applications. He could be useful in things like TOA. He is AoE crowd control technically, because he does do an AoE provoke. He could be fun to use in certain things, so not the worst monster. And then we've got Bernard, of course, everyone knows. Basic swift and as much speed as possible because he's a support monster, because he does this attack bar reduction and increases attack speed. So many people run like speed, whatever, even if it's a flat stat, resistance on slot 6. It doesn't actually mind his resistance on slot 6. But so many people run weird builds on Bernard. It doesn't even, as long as he's swift and the fastest possible. Doesn't really matter anything else. He's just there to be super fast. But early game, I mean, if you have the option, that's for PvP, right? For PvE, super fast, but also defense, HP, accuracy, all important on him. He does need this accuracy for this, but only one of his 3 skills, so don't really focus too much on accuracy. But I would go speed, defense, HP. If it's like 1 or 2 speed off in your early game, you're like, I'm not gonna get a 300 speed Bernard anyway. He's the difference. I can make him 220 with speed, attack, HP, or I can make him 219 with speed, defense, HP. I would say maybe, well, it depends on the rest. Actually, I would say it depends on the rest of your monster that you're going with. If everything else is going to be really aggressive, then I would go speed attack maybe. But if everything else is going to be, you know, if you're going for more support units, a more safe run, then I would say speed, defense, HP. He's got really good base defense actually. I think he's got like 714 base defense. I think he's got like 700 and something base defense when he's 6-star. 703 base defense when he's 6. For a 3-star, for a Nat 3, that's not bad. That's not bad. Cause you see a lot of Nat 5s that don't even have, like, let's look at some of the Nat 5s that don't have 700 base defense. 593, okay. 714, okay. Well, I shouldn't have clicked that. I knew she had good base defense. Saren's got good base defense though. 6. Oh no, never mind. Never mind. I don't know. I thought he had better base defense, honestly. Who had better base defense then? Who was I thinking of? But yeah, you see what I'm saying. Like, he's got really low base defense, 439 base defense. Ouch. And Bernard is coming in. He's got 703 base defense. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice, and 10,000 HP, so not bad. I do miss my Bernard being speed, defense, HP. I used to have him speed, defense, HP. I miss that because he's lacking a little bit more. Like, he can't take as many hits from like Rakan and Perna. He can still take a couple, but he can't take as many because I don't have that defense stack. Oh man, I used to have good defense stacked on him. Oh, I miss it. I miss it. Please come to us. Give me defense rune again. Please. Please. All right, guys. That's it for today. I didn't want to go through all the three stars anyway. 40 minutes. At least it wasn't an hour, right? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys summoned something awesome out of stones this week. I mean, I guess if you are watching the video, maybe you summoned something awesome out of stones. But hope you're having an awesome week. I will see you, as always, in the next video.